G'day punters, welcome back to the Betting Bad podcast, episode 2. You're here with Goodwill. I've got Doug out beside me. We've got a huge program today. We're going to be recapping the footy from the past weekend. We're going to discuss all the big races, including Moonee Valley, Rosehill and Sandown this Friday and Saturday. We've got a couple of NRL games to touch on. We've got UFC Paris, which I'm extremely keen for. And we've also got a fan bet to finish us off. But without further ado, Dino, how was your weekend, mate? How are you?
Very good. Knowing that the MMA was in Paris this week, I was trying to learn my French during the week, but on my cricket presentation, I think it was just mistaken to having too many beers. So sorry for everyone out there for the cricket presentation if I was dribbling on the speech. But no, it was pretty good. I mean, ended up pretty loose. Ended up going to for the academy down at North Sydney Bears. Got a gig down there, so I went down on Sunday with James Wardell.
Beautiful.
Picking our squad for the summer.
Nice,
The
man.
boys ripped in. They gave it a crack. So going to be interesting getting the footy bug throughout the preseason, which is good. But all in all, not too bad, mate. How was yours?
Mine was good, man. Pretty big, as you well know now. But Friday, a few too many beers at a housewarming. The housewarming involved pretty much just 2 camp chairs in a lounge room because nothing had been moved in yet. So
Lovely.
got pretty dirty. Dusty Saturday, went to the footy for the Manly Roosters game, and another big night, even though Manly lost.
Well, the Olakawatu bet would have been up and about.
I was going wild. I was going wild just before half time, 2 minutes before the bell. So
24-0 into 24-6, going off like a second-hand lawnmower just before half time.
And look, I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the wins from Saturday afternoon. That's what kind of got me going.
Massively. We were in dire straits early, and a bit of hate was coming our way. I mean,
It's a tale of two halves. That's for sure.
Massively.
I think we didn't have a winner until 4 o'clock on. Would have been 4:15 on Saturday.
well, I think I called you back to back between 4 to 4:30.
They were nervous calls as well.
They were very nervous calls. I was a bit down in the dumps before the cricket prezzo, and then after 4:30, I started speaking French. So it was it was a great turnaround. Hopefully everyone stuck by. I know it can be a bit tricky straight off the bat. You know, a couple of losses, 34 lengths last. Lady Potato Head, thank you. That was an absolute spud. Pardon the pun.
Yeah.
Straight to the paddock for that one. But we turned it around, and I mean, it was some good racing. I know James McDonald just absolutely turned it on, didn't he?
He did, man. We had Autumn Glow into Fangirl, which is obviously the best multi, which was great. We also had Buckaroo at $8.50.
The Magic Man.
I Am Me. You tipped I Am Me at $3.20, came into even money, and we also had the Olakawatu at $3.40. So I had a big whack on that, and couldn't be happier with that one.
100%. And the beauty about betting with Lightning Bet, it was in your account. How long?
It was in my account that night, 9 p.m. So it was great. Perfect timing.
Yeah. No wonder you didn't get home till 5 a.m.
Yeah, exactly right. Anyway, NRL recap, mate. We had the Cows and the Sharks to start us off. I caught the game. I was a little bit, as I said, mate, a little bit pissed by the time that game started. So I'll probably pass it over to you, man. What were your kind of immediate
if you
thoughts on that
weren't
one?
pissed on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening for the Sharks-Cowboys game, then you must have been tied up on a double date somewhere, and maybe at Putt Putt or the movies. But fortunately for me, I wasn't. So I was enjoying this on the couch. After the first 40 minutes, I wasn't enjoying it too much because the Sharks came out and absolutely... Well, actually, the funny thing was they didn't dominate the first 15 minutes, but the Cowboys just, like they did they did all year, just fell into a heap, loss of concentration with their defence. It's been their biggest Achilles heel, and Braden Trindle took the reins. Double. In the first 30 minutes, he scored 2 tries and had a try assist. The first try was a penalty try, a little bit 50-50 call. I mean, obviously we're on the Cows, so I thought it was a bit of a, obviously putting betting aside, it was up to the ref. I can appreciate the call. Whether it was 100%, look, those one of those 50-50 calls, if it goes your way in the first, 10 minutes of a semi-final, then okay, beauty. In semi-final football, you needed your luck to go your way, and it did for the Sharks early. The Cows just didn't shot a fire in the first half. I mean, it was actually disgusting. If you're Todd Payton, you'd be absolutely filthy. I know he holds his standards high, but
He does.
mate, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It ended up being 26-18, but Tricky Trindle in the first half killed him, and not much else to be said in terms of Obviously, our same game multi didn't go over, which was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, I think we had 2 same game multis, and I had Reece Robson first try, so that penalty try I was up in arms about, obviously, but Reece Robson anytime didn't look likely. The Cows 4.5 start, obviously blown out of the water, and
Well, the thing is, the 4.5 start, we only got beat by 8, and they missed 51 tackles. And they had 41% of the ball. That's what I mean. I was looking at it, and I was dumbfounded how in a semi-final position, especially the Cowboys, like Todd Payton, they're not going to have a long off-season at all, and they shouldn't. They've got 6 Origin stars. They played like shit, to be honest. In a game where everything's on the line, I thought they would step up. The only 2 people that actually gave a shit in defence and put their body on the line was Cotter and Dearden. Tamalolo, $1 million player. You get 15 good minutes from him, and then the rest, he's just got no aggression. I think the Sharks just out-enthused him. Toby Rudolph and their forwards just bashed him up the middle. And when you look at Jordan McLean and Tamalolo, they're as big as a bull, mate. Like, they would fucking run straight through us.
Yeah.
No worries. But in a semi-final football game, I would have given them a bake and said, see you in 2 weeks, boys.
Yeah, 100%. I was literally going to put Ruben Cotter as my anytime instead of Reece Robson. I don't want to be that guy, but
Yeah.
I will be. Manly Roosters was after that, mate. That was Saturday night. That was quite a good first half, I thought. But what did you think of the way it played out?
Yeah, this one, obviously, you can put it down a few moments. I mean, everyone's going to say, obviously, Manly lost 2 players in the first 2 tackles. Like, you don't see that. Last time we seen that was in Origin.
Yeah, and it stuffs the
Couple of years
interchange
ago.
for him, and it changes the whole complexion of that first half. And
It does, 100% it does, but it just showed that JWH, we spoke about it last week as well, that Victor Radley was going to be a massive inclusion for him just for aggression, and it turned out to be a winning play. I think the Roosters just dominated, really, and I don't think Manly played too bad. I just think the Roosters stars, you know, they've got 6 players, well, not 6, but they've got a lot of players. Joey Manu's leaving at the end of the year, Suoliti's leaving, Hargraves is leaving, Luke Keary's leaving. So there's 4 fundamental, instrumental Roosters players have been there around for many, many years. I think that they just really banded together at home, and they didn't take their foot off the pedal. Like the Sharks in the previous game, you know, they got scared. The Roosters didn't get scared. They play along with it. Manly, on the other hand, very similar position as the Cowboys, I think. I just think their defence throughout the year it was quite fitting that 2 of the very inconsistent defensive teams just bowed out in the same week.
yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, man. And obviously, with our bets there, we had Ola Kawadu get up, which was great. But
Bang.
we were hanging on Hopewada. I remember you called me at half time and you were half cut. And I was explaining to you,
I
going,
don't
mate, you're about.
remember calling
Yeah, I'm sure you don't. I remember you called me and I was at the game and I'm going, mate, I'm at the game. We need
Yeah.
Hopewada. You're like, mate, I love it. And then you messaged me, you're like, who do we need? I was like, Hopewada.
Lehigh who? My knee's sore. What do you mean? Yeah.
But yeah, we're hanging on that. That was the only thing we needed for a $15 same game. So that would have been outstanding.
we
But
got the wrong winger.
yeah, we did.
Tommy Talau.
Yeah.
He scored in the corner, unfortunately. But yeah, the Hopper sperm didn't get us over.
Nah, man, it didn't. And I was that pissed. I thought we were only about 10 points behind.
How did it end up? Were the Roosters fans going off? Like, how was the atmosphere?
Yeah, the atmosphere was great. Sold out stadium. I'm pretty sure it was great. We were in the nosebleeds, but it was good fun. It was good fun. The intensity at the start of the game, I was like, this is going to be like a grand final match. Like, it's going to be outstanding. And then the Roosters got away with it. I completely lost track of what the score was. So I was thinking that Manly were only just behind. So I was like, oh, we're going to get Manly to win. And 10 minutes to go. And yeah,
we
mates
got a tip on like Teddy's 250th game.
yeah, outstanding, eh?
Mate, we said he's going to have his fingers in pies throughout the whole game, and he played one of his top 5 best games I've seen him play. To be honest, I mean, just
Turn back the clock.
just was
that's for
everywhere,
sure.
and a couple of big hits. How was the Olakwatu hit? Did you see it live? Like, obviously, you were there live. Did you manage to capture it live?
Mate,
or-
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Nah.
So. Yeah, I
Go
probably
on.
saw it. I was physically there, but yeah, mentally otherwise.
So they're off to Mad Monday, Manly and the Cows. So enjoy that. Like, I don't think they will be. Like I said, both teams have defensive lapses. They won't have a long off season.
No, not at all. But look, mate, I think it was a successful, first episode. Obviously, we picked a few winners, which was great.
Yep.
But I've got to touch on the horse racing this weekend.
Yeah, lovely.
There's some big programs. It's stacked everywhere. There's Mooney, there's Rose Hill, there's Sandown. Obviously, we're going to provide our best bets across the majority of those big races. There's Group 1s, there's Group 2s, there's Manikato, Golden Rose, Golden Pendant. you want to kick us off, mate? I know you've done a bit of research for Moonee Valley.
Yeah, I have. Now, Moonee Valley, the death trap, the 200 metres straight or 250 metres straight, it is susceptible to horses that are usually coming from big fields like Caulfield, Flemington. Some come from Sydney. The Manikato Stakes is one of the premier races, though, of the Spring Carnival. It's a $2 million race. It's going to be a massive night in Moonee Valley. I think there's 3 big races there that we got going. The Manikato Stakes, they've got some superstars in it. I mean, straight off the bat, you've got I Wish I Win coming from barrier 12 at carrying 58.5 kilos. A Group 1 superstar. It's run 12 starts in a Group 1, so it's got that experience. A lot of these horses don't have that experience. You've got Growing Empire, who's never run in a Group 1, but it's 5 starts, 4 wins from Craig Williams. You know, you can get one over the line. But I found one down here, Jamie Carr, our girl, from barrier 2. I was watching this. I don't know if I can say this right. It's from the China Doll camp, so don't sue me if you're listening in Beijing, but it is Hayasugi from the 2 gate. I believe it is carrying 50 kilos down in the weights. Well, from barrier 2.
Can I inform you on something? We weren't going to speak about our tips until we
not.
got here, but I feel like a bit of brass. Is it Brass and Gator when they do the Great Minds?
Yep. Great minds.
I think great minds think alike.
Jock, do you have those? Do you have those little things that just you know when they get them together off the bat?
Yeah, he's not the magic man.
Yeah.
Pun. Mate, that's exactly my tip.
Hey!
Hayasugi. 50 kilos, barrier 2. It's in consistent form and had a great run second. Did you watch this last race?
Enormous.
Massive.
Enormous.
And it only gets, it looks like it's screaming out for 1,200 metres, and that's it. It feels like it got closed in a little bit with 1,000 metres.
Yep.
Barrier 2, it's going to get an easier run.
See, that was my only query with it. I mean, the Blue Diamond win was huge when it won down at Caulfield, I believe. It had a lot of room, and like I said, last start it did. This is a bigger field. That's my only query. I hope, when I saw Jamie Carr on board, I was like, sweet, this is going to be mad, because she knows how to navigate a horse. We're just hoping from the 2 it doesn't get pushed too far back, because we can get squished around, but it looks like a horse that just wants to run.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think positionally, I thought personally, I know barrier 2 is a bit of a worry for some, but I think it's going to be okay. I don't think it's going to get too far back. I think it's going to save a lot of ground as well if it can just stay too wide and just slot in. Probably needs a bit of luck on the bend, but if it gets an inch, like, no better person to get it home than Jamie Carr. With 50 kilos as well, that's the lightest in the race. It's going to fly home.
Yeah, I like it. I reckon you can have a confident each way bet on it, because 205. There's probably a lot of promotional things out there. I'm sure Lightning Bet will have one as well for us. We can get we can maybe get they have those different codes. We can get money back. But yeah, 550, 205. I think we're in with a chance here, and I do like it a lot.
I think so as well. That's a funny one. That's
it's funny because we said before we're not going to have a chat throughout the week. I mean, we chatted. I did a health check on Sunday morning to make sure that you weren't too down in the dumps after a massive weekend. But there was nothing in terms of talking about our tips for the week. So that is the Great Minds, the Goodwill Punting in the Dugout.
Jesse Pinkman and Walter White.
Well, you did notice I did shave my head. I thought I'd look a bit more like a Heisen bet this week. So
maybe that's our Heisen bet for the week. Hey, I'm like Hayasugi.
Hayasugi? Like I was saying, don't sue us if you're listening in Beijing. I know we've got a big audience.
Shout out Beijing.
We've got a great audience in Asia. They love their camel racing and their horse racing. So I think we might get I think we might get done by the pronunciation. But please don't sue us. I do like sushi, so if it gets up 40 Clayton Street, just send it straight there, please.
We'll do Benny Scarf instead of $5,000 at the Donny. We'll just go to a sushi joint, do all you can eat.
Well, Sushi Train.
Put $5,000 on Sushi Train.
The thing is, we have 50 each way on this. We go to Sushi Train, you have $10 left.
Put another bet on.
Well, speaking about another bet, we'll go straight into the next one. The Feehan Stakes as well. It's a shame that this race has been absolutely decimated because it's down to 4 runners, which is it's disappointing. You never want to see such a small field, but I think a lot of horses and trainers went, you know what, fuck this, we can't compete with Pride of Jenny or
Mr. Brightside.
Brightside, which is, it's a race of 2, but I mean, who do you got there?
Look, I didn't actually have a selection in this one. I kind of want to steer clear personally.
Yep.
Pride of Jenny and Mr. Brightside. I mean, it's obviously going to be one of those two, but
yeah,
like, yeah, if Pride of Jenny was $1.95, it's out of $2.10. If it hits $2.30, I might have a squiz at it, but.
Well, I'll bring up your confidence because this is Dino's Dynamite Bet of the Week. We're going Pride of Jenny. Here we go. I reckon Pride of Jenny at Moonee Valley. I know Mr. Brightside's 3 starts from the track and distance, 3 wins. It's hard to look past, but Pride of Jenny's third up. I think it didn't quite handle the track last start when it got nabbed by Mr. Brightside.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit too heavy for her, but that short straight's going to be everything. I just think with such a short field, there's not going to be much cover for Mr. Brightside to lapse onto. It's either going to be, there's only 4 runners, so it's either going to be getting cover, too far back. Pride of Jenny will be off and gone. I think it wins by 2 lengths, to be honest.
It's kind of shit that it's only 4 runners. Kind of ruins the race, doesn't it?
It's shit house because I know a lot of punters that don't know. They'll look at it and go, oh, there's a 4 horse field. Usually when you see that, you just back the roughie because you're like, oh, well, you have a 25% chance of winning. So it is a bit of a disappointment, but because of that, I think it's just going to play into Pride of Jenny's hands because it takes luck out of it, doesn't care where it sits and just runs. And Declan Bates, I think he's on board. It should be.
He is.
Yeah, the Irish fella. I think he'll take it to the front. It'll be very hard to beat around the track. So I've got that as probably my best bet of Moonee Valley.
It's race 4, and that's number 4.
Yeah.
Pride of Jenny. Excellent. What else do you like at Moonee, mate?
I have another one here. It's in the stock stakes. The over, I believe it's 1,500. We're going down to, this is a Perth horse, Alsafina. It was in Grinzinger Bell, or I believe Grinzinger Bell is the favourite in this race at $3.10.
Yes.
It absolutely head out in front and it loves to do that. But it's a New Zealand horse, Grinzinger Bell, so it loves the heavy. I've had a look at the conditions down in Moonee Valley. It's going to be a good, I believe. There's not too much rain about, so I think that plays back to the field. Alsafina's got 16 starts, 9 wins. It's only missed a place twice in its whole career. I think it absolutely ran on really strongly. It was 3 wide last start without much cover and still charged through the line. And I don't think it really appreciated the ground. So I'm going that. I believe it's $3.90. So I'm going to play that for the win. I am very weary of Jenny Lala. I think it's Jenny Lala.
Jenny Lala, I think it is, yeah.
It's got another wheel form. So I'm going the win for Alsafina. I think Grinzinger Bell might get a stitch, something that might come out and get it. And if I might have a little bit of a Quinella with Alsafina and Jenny Lala, but my main play for that race will be the WA horse for Grant and Alana Williams.
Beautiful, mate. Is that it for Moonee Valley, or have you got one more?
No, mate, can't have too many bets. It's, like I said, it's a bit of a death trap, so you got to be wary unless you
pick your battles.
Oh, I mean, unless you get it to the Friday early and slide something through the Bricky's laptop before it starts, and you got a bit of play money. But I would not recommend that. I think you're just going to go and try and pick and choose with that one.
Perfect, mate. I've got a couple for Saturday that I'll get to now. So obviously big card at Moonee, stacked program there, but obviously you can back it up Saturday. Even if you do your ass on Friday night at Moonee, you can play catch up on Saturday morning. So we've got Sandown race 4. That's one of my bets there. I got Freight Train. It's $3.50.
Yep.
It's got a wide barrier. It's barrier 10. It's 55.5 kilos. Ethan Brown's on board. It's got an outstanding record. I watched its last race. It was flying home. It was just outside the leader, was catching the leader, and it bumped into the leader on the straight.
Yep.
Took all its momentum away. Electric Impulse on the outside flew home, and it still managed to get its momentum back and try and kick back on, and ended up coming back and getting second. So it was a tough beat. I think it's third up. It's fitter for the trip. I think that's a good value at $3.50.
That's a good sign, especially when third up ticks all the boxes. Been hit, so I like that.
Needs some luck from the barrier, man. Yep. And I think we get some luck from barrier 10 and gets across all right. Sits 2 wide or even 3 wide with cover. I think it'll shit in. So
Sandown big straight too, so you can you don't necessarily have to. You can find a position 3 wide with a big field. I like that.
Exactly right. And then Sandown race 7. I've also got a roughie here. Holy Mans. Yeah, no.
Love a roughie.
News alert.
Hold on.
Shocking.
Yeah.
It's not $151 like last
thank
week.
God. Yeah, well, that one got scratched, didn't it?
Yeah, honestly, when I saw it got scratched, it was a bit of a blessing. I was like, okay, just cheer home Dino's favourites, and this will be a good day.
Yeah.
Holy Mans. It's in Sandown Race 7. It's paying $11. Declan Bates on board. 54 kilos. Barrier 7. It's a tough race, but it's a jaggable race, I think.
What was it called?
Holy Mans.
Didn't picture you to be a Catholic boy.
I'll be dressing up like a priest next show, I think, if this thing shits in. So, but it's up against that horse Craig. I think Craig's $2.50.
Yeah.
It has been unlucky in its last 3 starts. It came 6th, 5th, and 3rd, but each of those, the tempo wasn't really suiting it. It got caught wide, or there was always an issue with it.
Yep.
I think with 54 kilos, Declan Bates on board, I think at $11, you go at each way, it's going to be $3 a place. I think there's some value there. So,
beauty.
Yeah, man. And
anything else at Sandown?
nothing else at Sandown. Have you got anything at Sandown?
No, I didn't. Well, I mean, I got a couple of black bookers at Sandown, but I'm not too sure. May tip them a little bit later in the week. I didn't want to just go in there because I was seeing them. One's coming from a maiden, so wasn't too confident. But if the track plays out the way it is, this is Wednesday, so I didn't get a really good chance to have a look at it. But yeah, maybe. But it is tough, Sandown. I always find it hard to back a winner at Sandown. I don't know what it is.
I like favourites at Sandown. After I've just tipped a roughie, but I like favourites. I like favourites at Sandown generally speaking. I like my favourites there. So if Freight Train gets home at $3.50, Holy Man's at $11. Get me a place, and I'll be happy.
Beautiful.
I'm assuming you've got something in the Golden Rose.
Yeah, another Group 1 racing, which is so exciting. Such a good time to be alive. Going to the races next week, which is going to be exciting. I don't know what that is going to. Yeah, Eliza and I, my partner, we're going to go head out. She wants to dress up, and I want to back some winners live. So,
chuck the polo on.
Yeah, chuck the polo on. Might just wear this, see if I can get in. What do you reckon? Just with one of those.
The Betting Bad podcast.
Yeah, 100%. Or Hazard, this is wet sign. Might get in for free. I think I'm fumigating the joint.
How good one of the cleaners are here.
I might just go up to a jockey that sits 3 wide and slaws and just start to get some weed killer. What's this germ doing? But I do have the Golden Rose. It is. It's going to be an absolute outstanding race. You got 2 James Cummings horses, Broadsiding, and I believe Traffic Warden's in that race as well. Favourite, second favourite. You've also got Storm Boy from the Waterhouse and Bott stable, which has been racing really, really well. Rose Hill's a bit of a funny one. Randwick, you can always sit back and run on, but Rose Hill, you'd like to be on speed a little bit. But for this one, all I've done is I've gone for the horse that I think is the classiest and best horse in the race. It's going to be Broadsiding. It's coming from the 1 gate. It's last trial. It's running into this race without any prep, but its last trial it absolutely stormed home, and James McDonald takes the reins. And from what happened last week, I just don't see why not. I know there's rain about tomorrow and Friday, so it handles the track, it handles all conditions, and I think it's just a class above.
Great, mate. I had a pick in that race as well, and it's the Great Minds again, mate.
We got to get it.
We got to get it. $3.20. J Mac on board, 56.5 kilos. I watched this trial as well. It's extremely impressive, and I think the stable, they're being a bit arrogant with it as well. I don't think they'd be going into this race first up. Yeah, without some confidence. So I think I think it's primed to win. I think with any kind of luck from barrier 1, I think it'll win by a length or so.
There we go. How good's that? I mean,
the 2 big races.
I like it. It gives me a bit of confidence. Obviously, we'll be on it. Maybe we'll try to tee up a bit of a multi, maybe. But I think that's just a standout, just win bet. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think that as well. I think Broadsiding win, and maybe we can go Hayasugi place. Maybe I don't mind Hayasugi as our Heisen bet, and then maybe this is our methodical bet.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say something. I thought you weren't going to say anything
bet.
after that.
One for the junkies.
Yeah,
Shout out junkies.
Well, I've been working in Darlinghurst, and actually this fella, I had a fan out, and we were waterproofing today, and he absolutely pokes his head over and goes, "Mate, I can smell the fumes. It tastes like shit down William Street." I thought he was going to poke his head over because he had a broom. I thought he was going to try and start helping me.
Mate, the subby, are you, mate?
it was actually hilarious. I had to take my headphone out. What are you talking about? He's just absolutely off and all right, mate.
That's junkies.
Yeah, it is. Shout out to the junkies. It makes the world go round. But also in Rose Hill, this one's in race 4. There's a lot of value going around, and the old man and a couple of his mates are in a bit of a syndicate with this horse, Lording, race 4. We've backed it before off the podcast. It's come from Victoria, Moonee Valley. Loves to be on pace. Like I mentioned before, Rose Hill as well. I don't mind horses on pace because if there's any give in the ground or anything like that, it's not as easy to run on as like Randwick. It's got Timmy Clark on board, barrier 4. It's $14 and $3.75 at the moment. This is over the odds, I think, straight off the bat. They've got a horse that it beat 2 starts ago at $8, so I don't think this $14 is going to hold up. I think this is going to be a really good bet if the track's not too wet.
I was about to say, how do you think it's going to handle the rain pour
if
in the next few days?
If Rose Hill, if they got some plumbers out there and drained it as best as they could, hopefully they do. If it's too heavy, it's gonna be.
Fucking you open that for me, eh? Can't open my beer with these props.
Yeah, the beauty of the one glove.
Speaking of plumbers, we do have some plumbers, big fans of the show, 2M Plumbing. So if you want to get out to Rose Hill and clear the tracks for us this Saturday, more than welcome.
Yeah, shout out to 2M Plumbing.
Big fans of the show.
Are they? Oh,
yeah,
beauty.
Massive fans.
Yeah, but so I think if it's too wet, it's probably. To be honest, I don't think it's gonna. I'm expecting 40 mil tomorrow and potentially 20 mil Friday. Hopefully, it's just a Thursday job and then a Friday bit of a blowover. If it does get to a heavy state, then be very, very careful. But if it doesn't, if it holds up, I think it rolls out in front. Tim Clark is a lovely jockey in terms of riding in front. So I've got that at $14 and $3.75. Got one other tip as well. Do you have anything else for Rose Hill?
I've got the Golden Pendant.
Yep.
Is that what you got as well, or?
No, I got race 9.
Okay, the Golden Pendant.
Yep.
The favourite is Samana there, $2.60. I like the second favourite. I like Amelia's Jewel. I'm sure you've heard of Amelia's Jewel. It's a great horse.
Yep.
It ran home for second in a Group 2 first up only a few weeks ago.
Yep.
The stable were extremely happy with that as well. They're aiming for the King Charles, which is the $5 million race in a few weeks' time. So they really need a big run here. And I think it's fitter for the run. I think it's got an extra 3 kilograms on the favourite, which isn't ideal, but I think it's a classy enough horse that it will edge it. It'll be close. I'm not going to go crazy on it, but I think they, as a stable, they really need this win. So, Amelia's Jewel, $3.10 at the moment.
Yep.
Barrier 5 with Tommy Berry on board.
Love it. I love it. Amelia's Jewel is a good horse. That from WA?
Oh, I think so. Let's have a look.
Could be wrong.
Ascot, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, it's been running well over there. I think with Pikey's got it home a few times, so it gets Tommy Berry on board, so it doesn't lose anything at all. Might actually game the way Pikey's been riding lately. He's due for one he's due for a win in the last soon. So
he's cost me a fortune.
We'll keep an eye out for that. I got one more tip. Armour Victorious in race 9. This thing's third up on pace. Loves it. I love a third up. Yet again, I'm going off another Will form because after its performance last week, I think another Will could be a superstar. And I love form around horses that are that they've won after it's run third. It was second behind Tom Kitten, and it was third behind J Wolf as well. So it's got form behind 3 horses that have gone on to win in the last 6 months. It's paying $7.50 and $2.50 for the place. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be up on pace. Its last start, it got up on pace and got run over, but it just kept going through the line. I think it might be a slug out in the last in race 9, and Armour Victorious might help you, your battlers out there, if it's you've had a bad day on the punt. $7.50. I know sometimes it's a bit of it's a tricky price to launch, so just be wary, and I think I back that each way.
Excellent. Armour Victorious, 53 kilos.
What a name as well. Like, imagine, it gets up, everyone's Victorious. You feel like something from fucking Braveheart.
We'll be cheering at home like we are anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously we're going to be doing our Saturday quaddies as well. So we'll do a quaddie for Moonee, a quaddie for Rose Hill, a quaddie for Sandown. And we didn't even mention at the start of the week, we hit the Randwick quaddie last week. So we'll try and get the momentum going. It's easy.
Just it's too easy, isn't it? What do we have?
Yeah.
Fucking 25 selections. We still, hey, don't go broke back on winners. And if you followed our tips last week, you wouldn't have been,
You're in front.
You're in front.
You're in front. Everyone remembers that you won the quaddie. No one really looks at the numbers. So,
Exactly.
We're sweet.
Should have kept that a secret.
Anyway, moving on. We've got a couple big NRL games this weekend. Do or die. We'll start off with the Storm versus Roosters, Friday, 7:50, Amy Park.
Mm-hmm.
The odds at the moment, Storm $1.28, Roosters are $3.70. The total points line set at 45.5. The handicap is Roosters plus 10.5. What are your thoughts?
Look, I think it's a bit of a joke that the odds are $1.28, $3.60 for a prelim final. It's very, very hard to justify that kind of price, especially you look at it, the Storm, the Roosters, and Penrith are the top best three teams all year. I know injuries play their part, but I mean the Roosters' 30-man squad is that good where I think they cover it pretty well. The loss of Sam Walker is massive just due to their kicking game, and I think the Storm smother them, to be honest. But in terms of that price, look, I have to take the head-to-head Storm. And I was tempted with the Roosters with the line just because I think it's going to be close. But I'm playing it safe a little bit in terms of just having that head-to-head. I just think they're just going to smother them. Like I said before, their kicking game might be too good. And if they get a roll-on down at home, the home ground advantage in a prelim is massive. Yep. So I'm going the Storm in this one. In a very tight game, though. So if you're Roosters fans out there, obviously the line, you might get better odds as well. So, I wouldn't be swayed by that either. In terms of the head-to-head and the same-game multi, same-game multi, I got something here. We're looking at a four-legger. The reason being is I just think the Storm are going to get over. The Roosters have conceded second rowers tries in their last, 3 games. So I think Elise Katoa is going to be a good bet. He's $2.60 at the moment. So you can tell the bookies are scared by him. You never see second rowers under $3. So
no, you don't.
I'd be wary. He's so good under the high ball. He's good with the short ball. He might be running at Sandon Smith, and I think he gets over. I think Xavier Coates gets over on the left as well. Dom Young can't read a picture book, unfortunately. So if you're a Roosters fan, you might be a little bit off that. And he also lacks a bit of aggression in defence. I think Coates goes over. And Daniel Tupu as well. So obviously Teddy loves the left-hand side. They're on fire last week down that side. And Will Warbrick is in the same boat. He can't read a picture book either. So he'll shoot off his wing, and I think Tupu scores in the corner.
I think a lot of the same, man. I think that's a really great bet. I think the wingers getting in is solid. I've got Xavier Coates in mine as well. Yep. I've got Xavier Coates. The only thing that we differ on is pretty much that I think Roosters will cover the line. I think 10.5 in a finals game with Roosters coming off a thrashing like they did. I think that you've got to respect that Roosters are going to be up for it. Storm will be up for it. If Storm are a tiny bit off their game, I think 10.5 starts quite comfortable. $1.90. You add that in with Xavier Coates, it's what, $3 or closer to there. I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said before, the line is probably the smart play. And it's going to be a cracking game. I think if there's going to be an upset, it's going to be this game. Because the next game, I think the Penrith, and I'm sorry, Sharks fans, if this doesn't sit well, but I don't know. I think Penrith are going to get out to a lead. I don't think the Sharks have the middle at the moment to combat Leota or Fisher-Harris. And Isaiah Yeo, he's going to be the most capped Penrith player in Penrith history this week.
There's no way that they're not up for it this week.
They're going to come out hard.
I saw a stat on Instagram. I don't know if it's true or not, but I think the Sharks have been kept to nil for the last 3 games. So it's something like 800 days since the last time that Sharks scored a point against Penrith. So I don't know if it's true. I mean, I'm going to say it on the podcast anyway, but I'm not sure if it's true. But
let me check my notes. That's true.
That's right.
That's true.
Penrith $1.28, Sharks $4. Total points lines 42.5, and we've got the Sharks with the handicap at plus 11.5. Staying clear of that personally, I think Penrith 13 plus into Luke Garner anytime is a solid bet. Yep. I think Luke Garner's due. I think that he'll tear up their edges if he comes on. Or if he turns it on, and I think Penrith 13 plus is a solid bet. I don't think Sharks will have much of a chance.
I like it. One thing you might be wary of is Sorensen's on the extended bench, so we may have to check that one up because if he comes on late, then Luke Garner might come to the bench.
Luke Garner only needs 20 minutes on. He gets one.
There's the confidence. That's what we need.
Yeah, we know.
That's heaven. In terms of my same game multi, I'm in a very similar boat as you. I think Penrith are going to run over them. I've taken them with the line 10.5. I've done a bit more of a conservative 40.5 points. You can choose your own margin with Lightning Bet, which is awesome. I think that comes about $1.70 because I don't even know if the Sharks are going to score a point. So I just want to make sure that we can cover it. I think it might end up maybe 36-10 or something like that.
Yeah.
If it ends up 36-4 or 36-6, we cover that 40.5. And I just gone for a couple of big game plays. I think Cleary scores and To'u scores in the corner. That comes to $6.50. And like I said off the bat, I was tossed up between these two players, but I think the Sharks are susceptible in the middle, especially when they get tired and come off it. I've got Moses Leota anytime scorer, $7.50 up the guts off an Isaiah pass.
Okay. All right. Is there any other thinking behind that?
No. I just thought, when the Sharks are a bit buggered, Isaiah does a lot of playmaking. I don't know. It's something just... I think I kicked my shin at work and some fobber said, "Are you okay?" And I went, Leota's scoring.
Oh. It's as simple as that, yeah. All right, well, he gets over then, I guess. Hunters, get on. Have you got anything else for that game? Or?
No, that's it.
Beautiful. Move on. That's Friday and Saturday sorted. If you're still itching for a punt, you can wake up, or even if you're still going on Saturday night, this Paris card in the UFC I think it starts at like 2 o'clock our time, so it's tough.
Well, if we go off last week's form, you'd be watching.
Yeah, if Moses Leota gets up this week, I'll be... You play it Monday, I'd still be going. I'd still be watching. Anyway, it's still a good card. The main event won't start until probably... like Renato Moicano and Benoit Saint-Denis probably won't start until 6:45 our time, so you might still catch the main event, but... There's honestly some outstanding fights this weekend. It's a big showcase for the French. They've got pretty much a French fighter in nearly every single fight.
Yep.
A lot of up and coming fighters as well, and I think it's quite a favorite heavy event. I think the favorites are probably going to get up in a lot of the cases here.
Yep.
I'm going to be releasing some multis later in the week. I won't go too much in depth on kind of what my picks are. There's one fight on the prelims that I really like, and that's Umar Sy versus Da Woong Jung.
Excuse
me. Umar Sy is $1.21. He's a favourite. Da Woong Jung is $4.45. However, I think that Da Woong Jung should be probably closer to $18. Da Woong Jung. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. The UFC do this a lot of the time to try and keep the fighters that are, I guess, on a slide, keep them losing and losing to upcoming prospects. So I think that Umar Sy by a first round finish is probably the bet to go. Do you want to say who's your versus?
Well, I mean, what's next for Jeong Jung?
It's Da Woong Jung, actually.
Oh, Da Woong Jung.
Yeah.
Oh,
do you want to say it? Can you say it 3 times for us?
Do we get a genie in a bottle? or is our bet at the Manikato Stakes going to win? Because this is bad juju for this is bad juju for the Manikato. I don't know if I'm going to say it. I'm starting to sweat thinking about it.
All right. Well,
Da Woong Jung. Well, I mean,
Da Woong Jung. Yeah, what is next for Da Woong Jung? I'm not too sure. I think he gets beat here, and I think he probably fights another prospect, and he gets beat there.
And he gets beat, poor fella. But this is like you said, it's a massive card for France. The crowds, they always turn up. I mean, the last time they were there when Bam Bam versed
Cyril Gane.
That's the one. It was a huge crowd, and they get around. I remember in the WWE when they went to France, the whole ring was shaking. So it's going to be a good atmosphere.
Mate, they don't stop singing. They sing songs. They sing like if you're not French, you're not standing up. So the whole audience is standing up and bouncing, and like the fighters are trying to be composed. But every fight seems to be a really good fight because the energy is really high. So
yep.
I think a lot of these fights are going to be great fights. I think there's going to be quite a few finishes. I don't go too much into depth with it now. Obviously, we don't want to spend too much time on this, but the first fight of the card, Fares Siam and Matt Frivola, it's $1.90 a piece. It's a lightweight bout.
Yep.
I think my pick later in the week will probably be that this fight goes to decision. I don't think either of them are capable of getting a finish against one another. So I think over 2.5 rounds or just the fight to go to the distance is probably a good bet. I don't think it'll be too much. It might be like $1.40, but chuck it in your exotics.
Start adding up. The other one is I believe this guy's probably the Frenchman, Morgan versus Gabriel. I'm not even going to try and say his last name. Charrier. There we go.
Yeah, versus Gabriel Miranda. It's a featherweight bout. He's Charrier is like $1.30. He's a weapon as well. He's a future star in that division.
Yep.
Probably a bit too short, so I'll probably take him by a knockout. Obviously, sort it out later on what the odds will be, as long as the odds aren't too short. But he's not $1.30. He's $1.13. So he's extremely short.
Hey, let's get the Caterpillar building. If you think there's going to be a couple of favourites to go, especially in France, I like you said before, I mean, I'm already getting the vibe that they're not going to stitch their fighters up and try to really showcase the French division. Next one, Kevin, I'm not going to say his last name either. I thought this was one of the coolest names of the card, Brian Battle. Sounds like something from Mario Kart.
Brian Battle and Bowser.
Yeah.
Brian Battle. Actually, I've got a tip in this one. I think Brian Battle's going to win the decision.
Bang.
I think that if Kevin Jousset, I think if he tries to bring in the wrestling for this one, I think he's probably going to struggle. Brian Battle, every fight that he's lost when he gets out wrestled, is constantly fighting for position. So I'm pretty confident in that one that it will go to decision. And I think if someone's going to win, it's going to be Brian Battle. I don't think it's going to be that much. Brian Battle to win is like $1.50. So I think decision might be maybe $2.60, $2.70 for that one.
It's a great name. I'm backing that just off the name. It's good to hear a bit of confidence behind it. We got William Gomez versus Joe Anderson Brito in the next one. What do you reckon here?
Joe Anderson Brito, he's probably the next coming of Charles Oliveira. So he can submit anyone, he can knock out anyone. He's got a few first round finishes as well, but he's probably like, if you look at the whole featherweight division, because there's so many stars there's Diego Lopez, there's a plethora of superstars in that division.
Yeah.
People kind of brush over Joe Anderson Brito, but he's actually like a weapon. Like he beat Diego Lopez on the Contender Series a couple of years ago.
And Lopez was the bloke last week.
Yes, Lopez is the bloke that beat Brian Ortega last week. So everyone just kind of forgets about it. There's obviously Diego Lopez is on one trajectory. Joe Anderson Brito is a little bit behind the 8 ball there, but he'll pick up and eventually get there. But I think Joe Anderson Brito to win inside the distance is probably a good bet. I'm going to see what the odds are and either go knockout or submission, but I think that he definitely gets this one done inside the distance. He's a big favourite there as well. I'm pretty sure he's about $1.30, but he's going to win.
Hey, by the sounds of it, $1.30, $1.13. We're building up. We're going to the next one because this is the co-main event. This guy's he's got to be Russian. Imavov versus Brendan Allen.
French.
Is he? Yeah. Imavov.
Nazardine.
Oh yeah, true. There's more. There's an O and a U. That's French. Who do you reckon wins in this one?
He's against Brendan Allen. I think Nazardine Imavov is going to beat Brendan Allen, and I think the reason he wins, I think, is going to be a decision. He's a favourite as well. I think Imavov decision won't be that much either anyway. I think it might be like, $2.50, $2 or $3 maybe.
Yeah.
However, Imavov really just like shines in a 3-round fight. I think 5 rounds he kind of struggles with. 3 rounds, he's going to turn it up. Brendan Allen's probably going to look to take it down. I think that would be a decent strategy. However, the Imavov's got great grappling. He's got great submissions. So I think that Brendan Allen probably won't be successful. I think on the feet, Imavov is light years ahead of him.
Yep.
And I think he's probably going to frustrate him to the point of the third round. Like, Brendan Allen's just going to have nothing to do. He might win the 3rd round, but I could see it being a 29-28 scorecard and Imavov decision. Another best bet. I'll see what the odds are there, but if I think it's going to happen, I'm just going to have to tip it.
Well, you think as well, especially the Frenchman in France, if it does go down to, a bit of a dubious decision. I know, they say they're not biased, but how many fights have we seen in home countries, swayed it to the home ground advantage? So that's going to help. Yeah,
and it will. And look, what else is going to help as well is that if the crowd are all, reacting to every punch that Imavov lands and not Brendan Allen, it's the judges. No, there's going to be an inherent bias. Inherent bias there. So,
well, we go to the main event. And now this one, what do you reckon? So the card starts at 2. What, this is going to be at 5?
Nah, it should be at 6:45, 6:30. It'll come on. The prelim start at 2. So
right.
by the time it all goes through, the main event will be like 4 o'clock or something like that.
Well, that's not too bad. I mean, get up here and watch the main event. Moicano and St. Denis. Now, instantly, Benoit St. Denis, he's got Benoit in his name, so it fears the living Christ out of me because Chris Benoit was a hell of a wrestler and we know what happened to him. But
You know, this bloke, he will frighten the hell out of you. He's an special ops guy for the French army as well. So he's genuinely been out on the front lines killing people. You'll know, honestly, the way that he fights as well is like you'll notice that makes that kind of a storyline makes sense.
Yep.
He just walks forward. There's no head movement whatsoever. He's just striking. He's got these like crazy kicks that are just like to the body that can just injure anyone. His finish record is crazy. He had a staph infection against Dustin Poirier. I don't know if you saw that fight. Yeah, it does. Yeah.
fucking hell.
Yeah, no, it's not the best. No, not ideal. But mate, he's a rising star. He's very talented. He's huge over in France as well. Like the mainstream, I guess, in the Western societies, like America and ourselves, we probably don't know him that well. But over there, like I looked at his YouTube the other day, and he's got like 200,000 views on most of the videos. Like he's quite an upcoming star there.
Yeah.
But yeah, he had a staph infection against Dustin Poirier. He got knocked out there in the second round after demolishing Dustin for the first, round and a half.
Yep.
I think that Moicano, I guess his key to victory is going to be taking BSD down. The only thing is that Benoit St. Denis, he doesn't accept position. So as soon as he gets put down, he pretty much flips and tries to get out of it. The risk will be is that if he flips too quickly, Moicano can submit him early.
Yep.
That would be my only worry. However, I'm going with Benoit St. Denis for an early finish. I think a round 1, round 2 knockout is good value. It's not going to be that much value. It might be $2.50 again, but if it wins, it wins.
Yeah, I mean, from what you've just told me, I'm sold on Benoit. St. Denis sounds like an absolute animal, especially coming back with that army background. Like you said, I don't think he would accept a submitting position, but you just never know. But, mate, you've sold me on Benoit, absolutely. So, obviously, all those tips from your MMA is going to be up on Lightning Bet. We're going to do a bet slip just so we can do a big recap on that one. But,
Yep.
Mate, I'm confident in a couple of these, and it's going to be an interesting card. Hopefully, you can get up for it.
Extremely. It's a big weekend for us. We've obviously got the MMA, the horse racing, the footy. There's a lot to take away from last weekend. Full credit to the boys. So
yes,
we should be able to keep this one going. Sorry, but we have got one more bet. We've got a fan bet.
Wait, what?
We've got a fan bet.
You're kidding? We got a fan.
We have one. It seems we have one.
Don't tell me my mum's calling in. She hates betting. Is this going to be a roast?
Stop asking for money.
Already B paid you. Should be there in 4 to 5 business days.
You do cartless. But no, mate, we've actually got a fan. So we've got a fan. We've got a fan, Brock, I think his name is. He sent in a video. We obviously said last week on the podcast, look, send in your best bets, and we'll see how we go. We had one. I'll probably do a better job this week of promoting that to the crowd, but we have got one. So Jock, mate, if you can get that one up, that'd be excellent.
Here we go, Jock.
All right, boys.
You're on.
I got one for you this weekend. We got Panthers v Sharks, and we're going to take the overs. That's 42.5, I think, with Lightning Bet, and they're paying about $1.83. Now, I think the last 2 games that Sharkies played, they've been flogged by them, and even if Sharkies put up a fight, I do think that there's going to be points scored both sides. So I see that 42.5 getting done nice and easy. Also, dug out good save on the weekend. You were 34 lengths last on Thursday, and you hit that big one with Buckaroo. Well done, boys. Keep it up.
Man, cheers, Brock. An OG dugout. He used to come on the podcast sitting around a square table.
I don't know what he's doing with his tattoos, but
he's the king, isn't he?
He's the king, yeah.
He's the king?
Yeah, Wally, they call him.
Yeah. Well, he's looking more like Wally. He looks like he hadn't slept in a couple of days. Was he on the weekend with? Did you see him on the weekend?
He was at the game with me on Saturday. Yeah, he was at the game with me. He was he holds himself quite well.
Yeah,
he holds himself quite well.
It's a good bet. I mean, it aligns with what we've been saying in terms of Penrith putting on a few points. So we're going to discuss a bit of, obviously, if that gets up. We're going to send a case out. I reckon that should be a good promotional thing. I mean,
I think Jock's going to cover it. Actually, he said before the podcast started. So
our boy, is that he covered it?
leftover bathwater.
I think Brock wouldn't even mind that, to be honest.
Just the piss you left on the toilet seat.
Well, it's usually full of beer anyway, so get your straw out. We'll send that. We'll definitely think of something. I think a case of beer. I mean, obviously, if you sign up to Lightning Bet, could probably help out a little bit more in terms of helping the podcast. So the first prize is now sending it to a fan. It's probably gonna have to be a case of beer. So. Might be in our budget at the moment.
And if you do want to sponsor us, you can be the beer company that sends out the beer for us. Maybe that's an idea.
Yeah, mate, 100%.
I don't know if Tui's New are going to get on board, but look, could get someone just as good. Some pale ales. We kind of drink anything, don't we?
Well, I was going to say, if anyone sponsors us with beer, I was telling you earlier. I mean, I could sponsor you at any event, really. Confirmation. You're going to church after this. Your bet gets up at $11. Holy mans.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you want a great sponsor, I'll take the flag. I'll take you anywhere.
We will.
Please.
I think that's us.
Is that us?
I think that's us.
Beautiful. Well, before we do go, obviously we got to say a big thank you to Lightning Bet. We're proudly sponsored by them. Good Aussie bookie. Like I said previously before, really easy app to use as well. On Saturday it was an absolute dream to use throughout the day. There was no lag in it whatsoever. Osco withdrawals within 1 hour, and great odds. A lot of daily boosters. Please sign up. It helps the podcast, and like I said, it helps a good Aussie bookie. So if you use that code Walter,
WALTER,
they will know that you're friends of the podcast, and they will, they'll look after you. So get on board. That was fun, mate.
That was really good. Episode 2 in the books. Hopefully you just get a few winners. Obviously post all our tips on for Saturday and off Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So big weekend of sport. I think the missus is going to be fed up with me by the end of it, but
mine's already fed up with me, so I don't.
We have priorities.
Hey, cut.
And that's us. Ciao.
See ya.